And 3, 2. Welcome back. Welcome
Welcome
back to
back.
Basic Magic for Witches.
We love having you. Woo, woo, woo,
Woo! We are
woo.
back again.
Yes,
And today
this.
we are so
Hmm?
spoiled. We
Yes.
get to have another amazing special guest on the
Yes. Very
podcast.
excited for this one. We've chatted about her in past episodes.
Yes.
We're really excited to kind of dive into what she does and how and all the things. So
Yeah.
please welcome our friend and, I guess you could say
Our spiritual system.
spiritual assistant, like guide. You know what I mean? Like, you were very helpful to all this. It's Kelsey Parker. Woo, 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 woo,
Woo!
woo. I don't honestly
Empowered
know.
within.
Do you have, yeah, I was going to say, sorry, art from within? What's your
Empowered within.
Empowered from
empowered
within.
from
Yeah.
within? I'm sorry. I was like,
Yeah.
I know what it is. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I know it's empowered within. So that's very nice. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. We've been wanting to
Thanks
do this
for
for so
having me.
long. So this has been so good.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Kelsey is a jack of all trades. She
Mhm.
is one of the most gifted human beings that I know. And
Mhm.
every time I'm like, Kelsey, I need help. And she's like, here is my guidance. And I'm like, of course. It makes so much sense.
I know. I do. I like, and we've known you for quite a while, long time. You were my first and only roommate outside of my husband as well. Fun fact. So that was like coming up. Okay, wait, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago? Yeah.
Shit, that's a long
Yeah.
time.
Yes, it was a long time. Anyways, but you've done so many things in your life, and I think that like that has made you such like a well-rounded person that you are today is because you literally have done so much. And like
Yeah.
you've tried it, you've done all the things. Anyways, what we want to talk about today though, you do access bars.
Yes.
You also do body talk.
Yes.
So I am like a layman when it comes to this. You have done access bars on me, but I've never had body talk. And honestly, I don't really know a whole lot about the subject. Not asking you for like a TED talk on it, but like
But we want a TED talk.
yeah, well, we want a TED talk. But tell us a little bit, I guess, for people who are curious, like me, or like, Brittany, who's like seasoned and knows a little bit about it. Do you want to give us a little gist of what it's about?
Sure. So access bars, essentially it's a tool, like an energy tool that's used to help and shift us into consciousness. And so when we're in consciousness, that's when we let go of our judgments, where we're like open to possibilities. It's also a place where we can do a lot of shifting and healing. And so what happens is we live in a world of like a lot of like trauma and drama essentially. And so a lot of work, other kinds of work, they will work on like the limitations around the words or belief systems. And access bars works on the energy behind the words that are maybe keeping us stuck. And so the thing I like about access bars is you don't actually have to know what you're working on. You don't necessarily have to pinpoint a certain thing. And so it's very similar to Reiki. That's like it's a hands-on treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And so you touch different parts on the head, and you essentially restart. Like if you had a old computer and you needed to upgrade it, you're redoing all of your energy, and so that you kind of feel like balanced, having clarity, maybe having some blocks that you maybe didn't even know what the blocks were, but you maybe felt stuck in those areas. So essentially, yeah, access bars really comes from a place of like, can we bring our consciousness to the level where we're able to shift things, but also come from a place of not judgment? And when we are in a conscious state, we're able to be, open to infinite possibilities.
Amazing.
Sticking with access bars, what drew you to that in the first place? Do you know what I mean? Was there like some like, because I believe you started with that first, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I've personally had different energy modalities done over like the past 10, maybe even 12 years, like going to Reiki, and access bars was one of them. And it's really interesting because the first time I went to access bars, I didn't notice something for 2 months later. So I went and got this treatment. They're touching my head. I'm talking. I didn't really notice anything. And about 2 months later, something pretty profound happened in my life. And I had gotten a text message, and something that was very normally really triggering to me. I felt the anger, I felt all the things, and then this huge wave of peace and calmness, and that like very big detachment from the person, the text message, everything that was kind of attached to that. And I actually remember texting the girl who did access bars on me, and I was like, something shifted.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
And that person's
Amazing.
been back in my life for 4 years, 5 years now.
Really? Wow.
Mhm.
That's
And so there was
amazing.
just this super immediate, at that time, 2 months after, but immediate, like, calm peace, like, that I really felt that no one could kind of touch, like, hurt me, because I had control of that peace and calmness within.
Mhm.
And so again, some of these things you can't really, unless you've experienced it, it can be really hard to explain and seem really like fluffy in a sense, because I used to be like a non-believer too.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. And that's kind of the best when you are skeptic
Mhm.
and you're like, you go into that with that mindset and you're like, I need you to actually change my mind. And when things come up like that,
Mhm.
that are so profound, you're like, okay, well, I can't explain that away.
Right?
Mhm.
Exactly. Like you test the universe, you test spirit to
Yeah.
prove
Mhm.
things, and it's like until we know, like we're looking for big broad things, but sometimes it's like, yeah, the universe works in mysterious ways. That's
Well,
phenomenal.
and one of the things that Kelsey's taught me, well, she's taught me so much, but
Mhm.
for access bars specifically, there's there's a phrase that she always uses that we had learned through access bars, that I had told Jessica the day that she was leaving on her Ireland flight to move there, because she was so worried. There were so many balls in the air of just like trying to get there safely and get their luggage all there and their
Mhm.
delays for their flights. And
Yeah.
do you remember what I told you, Jess?
Was it one step at a time?
No.
Nope.
It was,
I don't know.
Kelsey knows, but it's how can it
Mhm.
get better than this?
Oh yes, that's it. Yes. Yes. How could my life
Absolutely.
get any better? Possibly get any better? Yes, I remember Brittany
Yeah.
saying that. And I was like in the airport and I'm like with all my family moving to Ireland. And I was like, how can life get possibly any better? Like, this is amazing. You know, I did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that's part of access consciousness. It's how does it get better than this? And what you're doing is you're making a clearing statement. So when you make a statement like that, you're clearing the next 10 seconds, because really we only have 10 seconds at a time. When you really break it down, that's guaranteed, essentially, right?
You're so
And
right.
so what happens is when, like, you know, you go to, I always use the grocery store analogy. You go to the grocery store, someone's grouchy in front of you. And then, you know, you get in your car and maybe you're like, okay, I'm grouchy, or someone cuts you off and all of a sudden things start irritating you, versus someone smiling at you.
Mhm.
That just
Right.
has a whole effect in itself. And so it's like when something positive happens in our life, can we compound it? Can we say, how does it get better than this? And honest to God, the stories I hear from people when I've told them that is
Mhm.
absolutely insane. You can't even make up some of the stuff.
Yes.
And my hairdresser, even just in January, I had told her about this. And literally, she's had a really crappy couple months. Just everything between, you know, flights being delayed, losing a car key for, you know, a vehicle that they were renting, all of these things, and all within like 3 hours. It was insane, everything that happened for her. And again, it comes back to like, we live in a society so focused on the negative, and we compound it all the time without even being conscious of it. And it's like, can we be conscious of how does it get better than this? And when we ask that, access consciousness, we're automatically clearing and being conscious of infinite possibilities.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
But another example where Kelsey saved me, it's because it was before Christmas time and I needed to go pick up a piece of mail, but I had to go to the store because it, you know how it is when you miss a payment or miss a thing at your house, you have to go to a post office to pick it up. And I was like nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, most post offices have like 10 to 15 people in line. I'm going to be there for a couple hours. And I'm a little stressed about it. And I told that to Kelsey.
Mhm.
And Kelsey's like, instead of worrying about that, why don't you keep that mantra of it's going to be really easy. It's going to be easier than I think. And I
Mhm.
kept playing that over in my head. I'm like, it's going to be easy. I'm going to find an easy parking spot. When I go in there, it's going to all just go by super smooth. And as I walk in to the shoppers that I was going to, I get to the post office. There is 0 people in line, and there's just 2 people just like hanging out bored. And I was like, "Oh my god,
For me.
what are the chances? This is
That's
a week
great.
before Christmas." Yeah,
Mhm. A week before
at like
Christmas.
4:30
Exactly.
in the afternoon. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's
yeah.
crazy. That's amazing. When you
Yeah.
did access bars on me, I wasn't newly pregnant, but I think I was like 3 or 4 months. And this was with Maria. We really didn't tell anybody that we were pregnant yet, like, or at all, really. And remember, after the treatment was done, you're like, I just got like something in your, what's going on, like in your tummy troubles or whatever. I was like, well, I'm pregnant. I don't know if I didn't.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. I'm like, because I just assumed Brittany had told you, and you're like, oh yeah. I'm like, yes, that. Oh yeah, that little person in there. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
No, it's phenomenal. I mean, I don't recall any like major shifts, but I think, I mean, obviously there would have been. Do you know what I mean? I feel like maybe it was a little shifts. I didn't need the big drastic
Mhm.
thing at the time, right? Whereas I think, never know what I could have needed now versus then or whatever.
For
So
sure. Absolutely.
yeah, very calming experience though, because I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
like basically sitting there, and your puppy Angela was like
Mhm.
checking in and being like, "Sup,
Yeah.
girl?" Yeah.
Yeah. And I think,
Angela's also a gift.
Oh no, she is a gift. She's such a sweet girl. Yeah.
I think like even just like the 45 minutes or whatever, it's like the worst case scenarios, you feel like you've kind of had a massage in regards to like you've just like given yourself that permission to rest
Yeah.
for a short amount of time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Sometimes there's nothing better than just like a quick cat nap. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And as adults, we don't get those as often as we'd like. At least I don't get
No.
them. And I love
Yeah.
a good nap
I
with no
do too.
children.
Love a good nap.
Yeah,
But
that's
then it turns
amazing.
into like 6 hours. And I'm
I was
like,
gonna say
"Ooh,
it turns
that's
into like a
fine."
full night's rest for Brittany. I'm like, and she's sleeping through this. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
she's not coming. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
So yeah, so I guess once you, I guess if it's been established now with Access Bars, what turned you into expanding to Body Talk?
So there's no logic around Body Talk. I actually signed up for the course before I've even had Body Talk.
I love
I
that.
actually heard a lot of, I don't want to say the word negative, but a lot of people I had like asked, hey, have you got Body Talk? They're like, yeah, nothing really happened. Or like, like really, even the girl who actually taught me, Brittany actually took Access Bars with me.
Yeah,
The
that's
girl
right.
that taught Access Bars does Body Talk, same thing. I rather do Access Bars, it's easier. So everyone was kind of giving me like really different messaging, and I was like, I don't know why. I drove all the way to Manitoba. They're like, you can take it in Saskatoon. I was like, I don't know why. I don't know why. And it's one of those things where as soon as I took the course, I've taken about 3 courses and there's about 9. I was like, oh my God, I've known this my entire life. Everything
Wow.
about it felt like it was like the foundation of stuff I've already know. Like I've already knew at my core. It was just like gave me permission to be like, okay, this all makes sense. This way of being makes sense. And so from there, it was just like, oh my gosh, I am so excited. And there's so much to learn. And it's actually very humbling because there's a lot of information. And I think the cool part about Body Talk is that it really, really humbled me in regards to that. I'm working with someone's highest self.
Yeah.
So I actually have to remove myself from it. My intuition can help a little bit, but my agenda can't be put into it. So with Access Bars, right, you just kind of run bars, you run energy, you help clear things. Not that it's necessarily simple, but it's a clearing. And so I guess going back to what Body Talk is, if you want me to go into that.
Of course, please.
Yeah, definitely.
So Body Talk is essentially, it's a non-invasive, like again, you lay on a table, you use someone's hand for biofeedback, like essentially asking yes or no questions. But you use this procedure and all these protocols. But what I essentially do is ask someone's highest self, what's a priority? Like, what does your body need to work on? Because people will come, right, for physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And I give this example is like, okay, my shoulder's really, really sore. I want to work on my shoulder. Maybe something completely different comes up. Maybe a belief system. Maybe grief behind your knee, maybe an allergy, maybe like literally infinite possibilities again. And so what can happen is we might have to rebalance other things before that shoulder, or maybe in turn it will help the shoulder, but your body stuff will come up in Body Talk, only what your body is ready to consciously release. So people will say, I don't want to have this peanut allergy, or I don't want to think this way about myself, or I want this, but you might not be consciously ready. So again, Body Talk brings stuff to the conscious level and brings up conversations, and it essentially will tell different parts of your body. Like it could be anything from like a bone to an emotion to blood to the nervous system, and really really saying you all need to work together. You guys are all interconnected and we need to rebalance you so that you can heal yourself, because the whole thing about body talk is we have such a huge amount to heal ourselves. That's really, really underrated, but we have to just kind of redirect. So in body talk, when you gather all this information, you end up doing kind of a tapping sequence, and essentially you tap your head, your heart, and your gut. And so what they say is that we have 3 hearts. One is to feel it, one is to see it, and one is to like do it. And so by tapping those 3 things, we're saying like, okay, we're not just going to come from our heart. We're not just going to come from our head. We're not going to just come from our gut. We need everything time. It kind of gives a reboot to say like, you have to be all interconnected here and remind which parts need to be worked on.
Okay. Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I know that there's so much to that. Obviously it's a very complimentary thing to be doing both of those. So I guess in your booking system, Jimmy, if somebody books for body talk, do you often, or do you just do like a combo? Like how do you separate it once you, do you know what I mean? If one will benefit the other.
I do offer them separate. There has been times where I've had someone come and then we kind of decide when they come. You know, I feel like sometimes people are so into their thoughts and so into overthinking that sometimes access bars is a good place to start to kind of give some clarity and, you know, have that calm mind. And then, you can even do a little bit of body talk after that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Really, really cool. When you were talking about the shoulder having pain and like, for example, like grief behind the knee and, you know, do you think, and I mean, this is my logical brain coming in here, but like, do you think that our pain in our shoulder theoretically is not the crutch, but like that pain displaced from the other areas of our body? Do you know how like,
yeah, for sure. So everything that isn't acute, and acute, I mean, like you get in a car accident and you break your arm.
Yeah.
So everything that's chronic, everything that's pain in body talk it is attached to emotion. So when we think about our body is actually always trying to communicate with us. And what happens is, again, nothing inherently wrong with Advil. Boom, we'll take Advil. Guess what? Our shoulder is getting worse. And all of a sudden we have pain in our hip. And we will not think they're connected, but your body will get louder and louder and louder. But most of us don't have the awareness or even just the tools, or we're never taught like, okay, can I slow down and say, what is my body telling me? What is it I have to work on? Because usually like there's so many different things, but examples like your core, your center, your navel is like where we hold anger. But if maybe you had gut issues or stomach issues and all of a sudden it moved to your knee, and knee might not be the first place you get anger, but guess what? Anger might start be going to different places because you're not listening. And so it can be really complex in that, our bodies are always trying to communicate with us. And it usually has to do with suppressed emotion, right? We live in a society of stuff, push through.
Right.
And people will say like, there's so many people again that take medications for a lifetime. They never say, you know, people will say, well, I have high blood pressure. Well, if you take a medication, which yes, it's, you know, needed. Well, that doesn't make you not have high blood pressure. It's still there. It's a symptom of something else going on. But most of us don't go intuitively or inward to say, okay, what's really going on here?
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, like you said.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Britt.
No, sorry, just real quick. Just that,
No, go ahead.
like you said, everything goes back to an emotion of some kind within your body.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Sorry, Jess, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'm just like looking at my right foot and being like, my ankle that I like. So I'm like, oh, I should know what these all mean. And like, I've got a bung eye right now.
You know what? Like, so we'll get ankle issues when we're working on stuff, when we're healing.
Yeah. Like,
well, our ankles will act up.
Like when I'm healing. Interesting. Yeah. Cause like,
what the hell have you been healing for years?
I like heard it while I was playing slow pitch in May last year. And I like ran funny anyway. So I went to Dr. Stacy at Market Mall Chiropractor. I love her.
Yeah.
And I got some orthotics because I'm on that side of 30. And it's been really helpful. Like I used to have to tape it every day from like when I heard it in May till probably November. Maybe it was November. I was taping it every day because I could not walk. And I was wearing it was like getting better. But now And I don't know if it's because I've moved my body more, maybe like I go for my walks without tape them in my orthotics and my like shoes that I depend on. And like, I have not had to tape it, but still, flares from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, I was just like, I should have been asking my body sooner. Damn it.
And the thing is, if we're not used to tapping into that, we're not always going to know right off the bat. But I just think it's so powerful if we like slow down before we take the Advil, before we take whatever. Like, it doesn't mean we can't use those things, but it's like, what is it trying to say?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
I love it.
That's neat. Honestly, I guess, obviously you're gifted and so skilled in this area, but for those who are, again, like dabbling in this or just getting to know the subject like myself, is there any, not practices that I can do on myself to start listening to my body that you would recommend? Or is
Honestly,
it immediately go see somebody?
I think it's so huge. So we don't live in a world where this can actually happen. So my body talk practitioner had told me this: if we all meditated an hour and a half a day, there'd be no illness.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the reason is because we would have that deep connection with self. We would give ourselves breathing room for our bodies to be connected and to understand. It's like, can you give yourself, again, 30 seconds, a minute a day to just go inward? What am I feeling within my body? And be okay with not knowing the answers right off the bat.
Wow.
My shoulders tight. Do I feel tingling? Do I feel nothing? Because we are very used to numbing pain, right? Like, I know for me before, when I'd be in like any type of energy stuff, all of a sudden I'd have back pain. And outside of that, I'd be like, holy crap, I have no pain, because I think I would shut it down, right? And so it's like, when you tune in with yourself, it's like, okay, what's coming up for me in my body? Because our minds and our bodies are so disconnected. And so it's like, they're so separate, right? We only notice when something's really loud physically. And then we're like, oh, arthritis because of this. Ooh, high blood pressure because of this. Boom. And it's actually, we're just still stuck in the symptoms. We're never going to the root cause. And body talk is like, we need to get to the root cause, the story behind the pain.
Yeah. And not, it's not a band-aid, it's the resolution. It's so funny. Okay, so I was on a walk today, or like before we started, I went on like my little walk with our dog or whatever, and I'm walking back. Sorry, my nose. And like literally the same, like my left or my right leg, it was like doing that tingly thing. It wasn't hurting. It was just like I was fully aware of my leg and my foot. And like, again, this is like the foot that has given me issues, but I knew that we were meeting with you. So I was like trying to like listen. Do you know what I mean? I was like, so it's just tingling. I've been made aware that my leg is tingling, like not in a bad way. Again, it was like a soft, it was like just like a soft, like, anyway, so I was listening to it on my walk. I'm like, what do I do about this? I'm like, let's just get home and we'll talk to Kelsey. Apparently I should have had a list of like, and what does this mean? And what does this mean?
Help me, Dr. Kelsey.
Before I even do that, before we get on to anything more about me, we're going to do all of your, shout outs and stuff at the end as to what you've got going on. But do you do virtual appointments?
I do. I don't do access bars. I don't do virtual.
Okay.
Body talk, you can.
Okay.
Body talk, I was never a believer in it.
Yeah.
But holy shit, like it is mind blowing. Because it's just, I've seen it. I did some of my classes have been virtual for this course, or some people were virtual and the stuff people would pick on. I know there was a girl, we were kind of doing a trade, and she's in Ohio, and like she's picking up stuff in my room that I do treatments on in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Like how, like, you know what I mean? Like you can't, it's really, really insane. And so, I think I never believed it before. I was like, nope, I'm only doing in-person sessions. That's what like that's what it's meant for. This is hands-on healing.
That's so
and
cool.
it's insane. And so it's different. It's a little bit different in regards to that. You might do some hand placements, or I might tap things on myself, but it's actually on you. And so there's different things in that. Sometimes people will use like a doll or like something here, and the person will be sitting there, and you'll kind of put your highest self in there. And again, one of those things, you kind of have to see it to believe it, because it's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like so interested, so very interested. And like,
I know, that's why I was like, why haven't you had
I
this
don't know.
before?
You know, it's funny because like one of my clients, okay, this was not my client actually. This was back when I worked in ortho, like years and years ago. There was a gal who this was the first I'd ever heard of it, and this was over 10 years ago, anyways. And I was like, what is that? And again, this is prior to my like awakening of sorts. Like I was aware of more, but I wasn't like in tune with that part of myself yet and like understanding of what it was. And so I was like, I don't know, sounds hokey pokey. Sounds like what is that,
Well,
right?
yeah. When you don't know, you're just like skeptic.
Exactly.
You're like
very kind of skeptical. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was always my like first taste was like, but I mean, the proof is in the pudding. She's still doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like we're still
Wow.
friends on Facebook and she's still doing that. And I know people that go to her like that have
Amazing.
no relation through how I know her. Right. So
Yeah.
I'm like, that's phenomenal. And obviously something's right. Something is working, right? Because it's not just a fad.
There's some chiropractors. Lindsay's one of them.
Yeah.
Like there's some chiropractors and more than her that are really into really even talking to their clients about body talk. I had a client body talk and we worked on a whole bunch of stuff for the sacral chakra and boom, next day she goes to chiro. Have you ever been body talk before? Like something about your sacral chakra within 24 hours.
God.
Oh, wow.
You know what
I
I'm
love
saying?
that. Yeah.
Or I've had people say they've gone to therapy and body talk and that the therapist and body talk will say the same thing.
Yeah.
That's
Like
crazy.
the same messaging.
I love that.
Can
I quickly tell
go ahead,
about my experience with Kelsey?
Of course, yeah.
So I've only had the pleasure of doing body talk once because I have a terrible schedule and I'm not dependable for appointments. So I booked in with Kelsey earlier last summer or something like that, spring or summer. And my guy also had a session the same day. And I was pretty much open to whatever. I was like, I don't really have much to worry about or whatever my body. You just do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And so with both me and Ryan's, she's like, something's going on with your reproductive system for both of you guys. And I was at that point, I was not pregnant, but we were, like had it in the air of just like, if it happens, works, whatever. But Kelsey knew way before we did that we were going to get pregnant right away. Because she's like, something's working, something's happening down there.
That's awesome.
And what happens too is like, I think with her is that like, you can pick future dates can come up. So your body like gets prepared and balanced for that. And I think it was within a couple of days of you getting your pregnancy test too.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was like the 22nd of, I forget how that worked.
August. And it was like the day or before, it was within a couple of days of that.
It was like, I was gonna say if it was probably the weekend, because I think you told me you're pregnant on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I left
actually
that
the 22nd is when we found out that Ryan's uncle was able to get flown out to Edmonton to get emergency heart transplant surgery. He was on the list for years and they had essentially given up, and we were like, well, and something came up where the person ahead of them couldn't get to the hospital on time and they were flown out from Winnipeg to get him there.
Wow.
So the 22nd was such a huge day, but it wasn't necessarily about us, but it was such a huge moment that we're like, oh my God.
It was like a relief, maybe.
Kelsey's the highest being. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool. My little like blip that I was going to insert was nothing of relevance really. It was, you just mentioned Lindsay, and for people who are like listening, it's Dr. Lindsay Lubda at Lead, the Integrated Health Therapies. And she's fucking awesome. Fucking love her. Dr. Lindsay. Good. I also love
we know you're listening.
Exactly. I hope you're listening.
They have body talk practitioner there. I don't know who it is, but I think they actually have it within Lead. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sorry, my watch just like, what did they? Here's what I found. So they do is apparently what I Google searched. So they do is an English example in context. Ludwig. I don't know. High quality example sentences. So they do in I don't know. This is great. Why it was just like, that's like the most annoying thing with this watch. Anyways, that's great. Really, really neat. So let's talk a little bit about my eye.
For our listeners that don't know, Jessica's been dealing with some real weirdness with her eye the last week.
Exactly. If you've seen any photos of me recently, it's only been from my right side because my left eye is like,
it's droopy.
It looks scary.
It's pretty droopy. It's very sad looking.
It's kind of small looking. It's just like really swollen and red. And
It's
I
like
don't
she's
know.
got like punched in the eye, but that wasn't the case. It's just like very,
Yeah.
very, very like sad.
It hurts a lot. And it was really puffy. And literally
Wow.
tomorrow, okay, so it's Wednesday today. Tomorrow, okay, last Thursday evening is when I started to get irritated with it. And so like
Yeah.
it'll be a week and like enough of this
Oh,
trash.
man.
Anywho,
Yeah.
so
So,
do you
Miss Kelsey
have
to the rescue.
anything for me to take? I am seeing a doctor tomorrow because
Yes,
like yeah.
So for people that are listening, I guess, is that I have, there's lots of body talk books, but I have this
Yeah.
book that's very, very detailed, and it has to do with really any kind of physical thing that can come up. And it's called Messages from the Body.
Mm,
Um, and so I'm just gonna, because there's lots of different meanings for different things, and sometimes there's like 7 or 8. So for the left eye, it says, I'm going to use air quotes. It says,
sure.
"Oh my God, they're involved in intense emotional reactions to what they're seeing, or what they see happening to and within themselves."
Oh.
That's one part of it.
Okay.
And I know you talked about burning, so like it actually has to do with internal toxin release.
Oh.
So it says like emotional exhaustion. It is arising from processing very, very early foundational ego damage. It says the individual is now clearing out the earliest self-relationship distorting experiences, and they're changing their entire operational system as a result. This depletes almost all available energy.
Well, it makes
So I
sense.
take it as like you're doing a lot of like internal work. So like there's a
Yes.
lot of like restructuring and getting rid of a lot of like really old belief systems about yourself, and literally releasing toxins like from your eyes. Like that's releasing.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And that really does resonate. Like with me, like this is like part of my health journey as well. Like since we've moved here, like I've lost over
Mhm.
20 pounds just
Oh,
having moved
wow.
and walked.
Mhm.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just I've been doing anything, still eating.
Yeah.
I'm still doing all the
Just
things.
moving your body is
I
a
have
huge thing. Holy
I have a
man.
friend who's a trainer here. His name's Shane O'Neill, and he's phenomenal. I'm in part of his unfuck yourself community. Anyways, he's amazing. And literally he's made it so easy, but part of it is breaking through that wall and getting to know myself. And so I am doing a lot of internal work and like that meditating. I've got to do more meditating, but like,
Yeah.
but that's
Maybe an hour and a
literally-
half a day.
I don't have an hour and a half a day to do anything.
And so the left side,
Yeah.
the left side of our bodies, the
Yeah.
whole left side deals with the feminine side, the feminine energy, the nurturing, the
Yeah.
like free flowing, the,
Yeah.
going like that mother energy, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, am I not giving that to myself? Is that why my eye is, you know what I'm
Literally.
saying? Like doing
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
One of my
And then
like
you talk
goals.
about- yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, and then the right side you're talking about, it's like, okay, I'm doing something really physical. It's like the masculine side's like really like work dominated, like career, the physical aspect of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. No, I like
And the left
totally.
is spiritual.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Because that's part of this is like, I was so like, one of the reasons I decided to do this is like, because I wasn't even getting 5 minutes to myself. Do you know what I mean? Or wasn't giving myself the 5 minutes, the bare minimum attention to myself. I mean, looking at me now, you'd never know that I do give myself 5 minutes a day. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like making a point to like put time aside for myself. So that's like my walks. Like it's not, I walk the dog.
Absolutely.
I take the dog on my walk. Do you know what I mean? It's not, I don't walk the dog. It's for me. She just comes along if she wants to or not, right? Because I'm starting to, I mean, I have my beautiful children. I love them dearly, but they suck my life out of me, right? Like I was so tired. I was so exhausted with having like, and really it was like, I don't even know what my day has accounted for because I just was empty. I was nothing in my cup. So that's where.
So where does that manifest? Your left eye.
My left eye. And it's like anyways.
It got really loud really fast.
Literally, I know. And I'm like, like seriously, it's been a wild ride, but that's, I mean, couldn't be further from the truth.
Like even when we FaceTimed yesterday, you were having breakfast and you're just like, I'm just eating their leftovers. And I was like, or you can make yourself something. And you're like, it's fine. I was like,
my blackened pancakes.
Yeah, no kidding. Your special pancakes.
Right.
They're
And he's
nice
like,
and
yes.
burnt.
Oh, Jessica's famous black pancakes. I was like,
Yeah.
yes. I know.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, like, not every morning is as hard, right? But it is like
Yeah,
my
for
life in the
sure.
last year. If you put me in a room with myself from last year, chatting about where we are now, I don't know what our conversation would be like, but I do know
She'd be
that it would
yelling
be
at you. She'd be yelling at you. Be like, just go out
literally
taking care of yourself.
apply for your visa now.
Yeah, yeah.
Get that shit done. Yes.
Yeah,
No.
no kidding.
Yeah. No. Exactly. It's all like hindsight 2020 when it comes to that. But yeah. No. It's why did it have to be my eye? It's so like stop you in your place.
Well,
Like
think
literally.
think about some literal eye. It's like not seeing clearly,
Yeah.
right? It's
Which I
like
can't.
not being able to, or not liking what you see, right? And so
That's
it's like,
fair. Yeah.
right? So it's like there's that. And then again,
Mhm.
going back to the feminine side is the spiritual side. So feminine side is the left side, right side's masculine, physical, sorry, spiritual, physical. And when you think about, I think spirituality has to do with like the essence of who we are.
Mhm. It is.
Totally.
You're right.
So
Exactly.
it's like, oh, I'm working on the essence of who I am, even if it is in these small walks or these things. It's
Yeah.
like, how do I keep coming back and figuring out? It's like from just the eye stuff, it's like I'm getting rid of all the crap
Mhm.
that maybe I thought was me, but wasn't me, right?
Yes.
Conditioned as a kid
Yeah.
or whatever, right? Society,
Yeah.
all of those things.
Yeah. Actually, this is so crazy now that I like think about all this stuff too. So yeah, Thursday night it started, or it was starting to bother me.
Yeah.
It wasn't so bad, but it was like irritating. By Sunday, it was when it was his worst. And that was when the fucking full moon was. And what was I doing on Saturday and Sunday? I was out talking to the moon because I do that when I'm on my walks. And I'm fucking like cutting cords and like having an honest chat. Do you know what I mean? So I think it was like
I'm probably looking for signs.
literally I wasn't looking for signs, but I was like having a true honest conversation with myself and the moon. Do you know what I mean? It was like, and I think maybe that was when I was doing my inner work at that point that maybe triggered this. Not, but do you know what I mean? I don't know if maybe that makes sense. Maybe I'm totally off base, but that's amazing.
But why can't that be right for you?
Well, that's amazing. I'm going to take that with my whole heart and say, yeah, we had that chat. And apparently I chose to say, yeah, just fire tears.
Just fucking do it. Just do it.
Just cry glass. Let's do that.
But can you see how it's very easy to dismiss it and say, well, it's just my eye and it's just my leg.
Exactly.
And that's so separate from me doing the work. And like, I'm going to keep having these so separate versus like, can I put them all together? Because everything is interconnected.
Exactly.
Consciousness is interconnected. Me, I'm interconnected.
Yeah. I think not like we need proof, but another thing in that basket is my right eye has not been affected. Nobody else in this house has been affected. So it's not like I picked it up from my son or whatever, right? At this point, it's just me and this eye. It's not I shouldn't say it's not contagious, but do you know what I mean? It's not like I picked it up. Whatever.
Well,
my body
thing is you just assume you did, but
I assume I did. I could put it down to because I wiped my nephew's eye at the supermarket the other day with a tissue, and I was like, it's good, but it looked a little goopy, but I was like, it's fine. But like
but the logic can really dismiss all of that.
Exactly.
All of the stuff we didn't talk about, right? Like, or that we talked about, you could easily just be like, well, I touched my nephew's eye and boom, and that's what it is. And a lot of us walk around that way. And I'm not there to judge people for that. It's just, there's so much value in having that, be like, holy crap, what is my body teaching me, telling me? What is it that I need to know? Maybe what is it I have to focus on? And like, just that acceptance alone, I think can really, minimize some of the symptoms.
Totally.
Or just having like, a gratitude about it, because it will be temporary. Because again, it's
that's the word. That is literally like in this conversation, this short conversation that we've had, that is like my leftover feeling, having discussed that with you, is gratitude. Because I know that this is like, this is for purpose. This is to rid and detox and like shed that other bit of me that clearly isn't of use to my new being. Yeah.
To like let go finally.
Exactly. Release it somehow. That's amazing. Fuck yeah.
See?
So this magic book you have, can like anybody else buy this book, or like
you may not understand it?
Literally, I was like, is it
you probably might not be able to find it because it's.
Oh, you froze. I froze.
You actually have to buy it from the States.
Okay.
It's sorry.
There you go. You're still good.
Messages from the body.
Essentially, this person goes by a different name in the States because they thought if they had a more white name that they would sell more books. And so I can find out and get that to you guys if you want, because I think there's no more copies made. Like this is actually, it's a very interesting, book.
Well, why don't you give us the information?
His whole name.
Oh, that's okay. Give us the information later. It's all good, because if I'm interested in this book, chances are other people are too. So for the listeners that are interested, reach out to us and we'll give you the information. And
or what we'll do is we'll refer you to Kelsey, so that way she can actually do a session, because reading that book, I've personally read that book and I'm like, I don't get it. And like, I know everything about the human body. I'm like, this is too much information.
It's like reading a textbook for like, I totally understand that. That's it. Scratch what I said. Go to Kels. Do it. Do it.
Kelsey will guide you. She's amazing. She knows your body better than you do.
Literally. No, I think that's so good. I'm like literally mind blown. And like I said, gratitude is like, we don't recognize the feeling of gratitude very often. I feel like we get like, at least I don't take a minute to sit in that feeling. It's a nice feeling. So if you haven't, do that. So
Kels, before we go into all the good stuff that you have coming up, I'd love to ask you, when it came to, being as intuitive as you are, when did you notice that in your life? Like, when did you feel like that started you on that path of getting connected to spirit, getting your first oracle decks, like all of those kind of wonderful things?
Yeah, because you do use your intuitive side in your practices. Cool.
Yeah, I don't necessarily, I feel like it's something that, well, I feel like all of us have intuition, just some of us just are literally not tapped into it at all. But I think it was through healing myself and being like growing up, like most, right? We're really told to like betray ourselves at all costs. Really. Like I always think of this example of like, okay, you need to go to that kid's birthday. They invited you. It's like, I don't want to go. Be nice to the teacher. Well, not all teachers are nice. Be the better person. All the messaging we get to not trust that we don't want to do something, right? And so through my own healing of really getting to the bottom of that and being like, no, my yeses are yeses, my no's are no's, like that is enough information that I need. It wasn't as simple as that, but it got to a point where it just, I didn't need outside people to tell me, right? Like I used to be where I'd have to make a decision and I have to ask 5 people, maybe already knowing the decision I want, but everyone would kind of invalidate it because one, everyone's coming from their own lived experience. And then I would be so unsure and then I'd be very indecisive. And then being indecisive, I would choose from a different place than I choose now. And so for me, I think every time I got energy work done, Reiki, cranial sacral therapy, like seeing other kinds of healers, body talk, access bars, my own therapy, all of that. I feel like when I went into those places, whether I was aware of it or not, I literally felt like I always gained another piece back that was suppressed. So I was gaining another piece of me. And so I couldn't say what time it was or how many years, but like, if I guesstimate, we'll say 6 years ago, I started to be way more connected with myself. And then every time I trusted myself, I just kind of built that within me. Right. So being like, okay, it's okay if someone else doesn't agree with me. It's okay if none of this makes sense, because I've made some really crazy choices in my life based on intuition alone. And
look where it's taken you.
It's always made sense in the end. And I think it's also remembering for intuition that it's okay if it doesn't make sense now. It will. You'll get clarity a year from now, a month from now, whatever it is. But again, this goes into like the retreat stuff is like, I'm all about if we can be connected with ourselves, we actually have so much information.
Amazing. So you were able to have a retreat about a couple months ago now, right? It was November that you had it? Yeah. So tell us about what happened during that retreat.
Yes.
So the retreat I did was all about receiving. And so I actually just facilitated. I didn't do any workshops myself. And so there was a group, I think about 9 or 10 women, and they came to, I didn't think it was going to be as powerful as it was. And we had kind of 4 offerings. So we had 2 before lunch, and 2 after. And so someone had kind of led us through like a singing bowl sound bath meditation.
Amazing.
And then we went into like yoga, and we had lunch, and then we had 2 people present. And it actually opened up a big group circle, and there was a lot of tears, but
Oh,
The
it
best
really
ones have the
reminded
tears.
me, it really reminded me the power of being connected in a group setting like that,
Mhm.
that shifts can happen, even though people are speaking words. I just take it as like, there's just such, like such a no judgment zone. And so everyone's there, you know, for the right reasons. And so I just feel like a lot of shifts happened, energetically.
Yeah.
yes.
It's like
Amazing.
we talk about every episode of like this awakening period. And I think the more that we allow ourselves to try these kind of things and put ourselves in those new situations where there's personal growth is like allowed, right? Or like a permitted, right? It's like that's when the most, you know, epic moments seem to happen. That's so cool. So with your retreat, you are doing another retreat, it sounds like.
Yes. So please tell us
am.
everything about that. Tell us when,
Yes,
where, how.
it's March 26th.
Amazing.
And it's
That's coming up.
Spring Connection.
Reconnection.
And it's like a spring equinox retreat. So it's I think from 10 to 3:30, and there's going to be 4 offerings. It's actually at Wild Root Studio, which is like 10 minutes outside of the city in Saskatoon. And there's going to be, it's all about connection. And so again, I have a different person helping me this time. She is doing, her name's Michelle, and she is doing like gongs and sound bath again to lead a meditation. And then I'm actually going to do an offering, a workshop on relationship with, or connection with self and relationship with self. And really like some like tangible practices that you can do. Some of it is what I was kind of saying about like tapping in 30 seconds or a minute a day with yourself. And then there's a lunch, and then I have a girl named Shelly. She's actually coming from Birch Hills, and she's doing a Mala workshop, but it's I think about an hour, 2 hours, and she put intention while you make this Mala.
Cool.
So this. And then I have a girl from Pura Vida. Her name's Amber, and she's going to come and close with a yin practice.
Oh, what a treat.
Yoga. And so, yeah, that's what's happening. And I think I have 3 out of the 10 tickets sold already.
Oh,
so
amazing. And it's nice to know too, especially for our listeners, that it is pretty exclusive. There is a short amount of spaces. So that way, if people would like to participate, to contact you, what we'll do is once we post this as well, post this episode, we'll also share your event page, so that way everyone can contact you and go from there.
For sure.
So there's a page.
And like,
she has
I have a poster up, and this week I'm going to be posting all of the offerings to get more information.
Perfect. No, that's so amazing. It's like we recently had another podcast that we were on, and I had pulled a card. That was the dolphin energy, and it comes down to gathering with like-minded spirits and like people, and like it just seems to be like the theme. And like, man, oh man, like I was telling Brittany, like, I've never pulled this card in my life. I've never seen this card. Couldn't even tell you there was a dolphin in here, but it's like healer, light, and blessings. So like, to bring into balance of your life, like-minded spirits. And then when we're in balance, we're active healers, we're strong spiritual in our practices. So I think that's like, seems to be the theme this week. And I think that's, again, it's like, to me, it's like a no-brainer. It's like, obviously that's the next step, right? If we want to grow as humans and as spiritual beings, we have to seek each other out, I feel like. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So let's get to our card of the week.
Yes.
And we had told Kelsey that if she'd like to also pull a card for the collective for the week, that you are more than welcome. If you don't feel comfortable, that's okay too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I can.
Sorry, my dog in the background is just like, hey.
I know. I'm like,
hey,
honey.
All the time.
Honey.
Yeah. Always.
It's actually a deck you have.
Oh yeah? Which one?
The Healing Magic deck.
Sorry, I just grabbed my
That's
deck.
awesome.
It's my favorite.
Is it?
This one?
Right back. I just have to.
Oh,
I like
okay.
that one. I just have to pick up my deck and drop it on the ground.
Yes. She dropped it on the ground. No worries. That gives us time to shuffle.
Okay,
and-
this one says grounding my energy.
Oh, I love it.
And it says it is safe to be in my body.
Oh, wasn't that fun? Isn't that funny how you did this?
Oh,
Decided to
sorry.
come up.
I did not mute
That's
myself.
okay.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, did you hear it?
No,
No, I
she didn't. Her
didn't.
headphones were off.
Okay, it says grounding my energy. It says it is safe to be in my body.
Oh my god.
I know. I was gonna
Really
say, I'm like,
great
if that's not
energy.
ringing too true for this
Hold on.
episode.
Hold on a second.
And so what
I'm
it says
recording.
here,
Oh. Maria had it this morning.
No,
No idea.
it's got to be in there. I really don't know. I haven't been in there.
Welcome to the reality of our podcast when life actually does happen as we
Yeah,
that's okay.
Very, you know what? It was very important. Where's the small remote? Just
That's
because Maria had it this morning. Okay.
yes, so she may have taken it to bed.
No, she did not. I can guarantee you that much. But it's like I don't know. I'm
Oh
working
my
at
gosh.
50% capacity vision. I don't know where the
That's
small
exactly
remote
it.
went.
I'm just gonna read what the card said.
Yes, please
Yes,
go ahead.
please. Please.
It says when your energy is grounded, you are no longer wrestling with the pain of the past or chasing after potential future outcomes. You dare to demonstrate your very best attributes and qualities, no matter how you are perceived or received by others. With your energy grounded, your mind can relax as your body becomes a more enjoyable environment to inhabit. So this mantra is ideal for replacing compulsive thoughts, releasing addictive behavior, and finding stability.
I love it. I love how just connected your deck was to this episode. Holy mackerel.
It's like it was listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Do you want to go next?
Guys, sure. I've chosen my Rose Oracle deck.
Fun.
That's what I don't have. I want.
You can always come over
Lovely.
and borrow
Yeah.
it. So yeah, I'll just get my card out here.
It's all good.
Ooh, oh, I love this one. So this one is the sun. So like joy, enrichment, play, vitality, life force, success. So that one.
Vitality sticks out to me there.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Let me find where it is
That's
here.
all good. I'm gonna vamp a little bit here before I.
Yeah,
Brittany's
absolutely.
looking.
Okay,
In her
ready.
book. Go ahead.
I'm ready. I'm
The
ready.
sun.
Perfect. Okay, so this this is a wondrous card that heralds a time of playfulness, enjoyment, and bliss. The sun can also represent the inner child. It can be an invitation to have some fun. Have you been all work and no play lately? Is your inner child longing to run free? What can you do to enjoy the simple things in life? And when we allow ourselves the space to play, problems that were once unsolvable find solutions. I always love the inner child card, and I always find that I pull that card around Kelsey.
It's just her card. It's like, hey, girl, hey.
It is because Kelsey's done so much amazing work on healing her inner child the last couple of years.
Yeah.
That like
Yeah.
every time I pull that card, I was like, "This is for Kelsey."
Yeah, exactly. One specific person. You know,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
I love that.
I love that. So I have a new deck. I don't know if I told you this, Brittany.
No, you didn't.
Well, I had it in my
Show us.
Amazon cart. Okay, so I was influenced. I was influenced by Pam at Out of the Ordinary in Saskatoon. She was posting this beautiful deck. I'm like, oh, it's so neat. Of course, it's the Elemental Power Tarot. And like I saw it, I was like, oh, I love it. And I just like added it to my cart because I didn't want to forget about it. Well, my husband bought it for me. So I was like, oh, that's great. Because it's kind of like somebody bought it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like even
Well,
though it's
so
like the
nice when
same,
people do that.
same, you know what I mean? Like I picked it out.
that.
I just put it
Yeah.
conveniently in our cart and he didn't have to buy it, but he did. And so anyway, so I'm gonna take that as a
Nice.
win-win. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do, let's see, our collective. What our collective needs to hear. My little cord's in the way here.
What does everybody need to?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I feel like the freaking cord is just like in the way. Okay. So I got 4 cards out of there. Typically, I only pull 1 card, but we're getting a 4 card spread today. Sorry, guys.
We're
You're
getting
like,
all
what?
the elements.
No,
Like,
no. Well, you never know. So let me just digest this. While I digest, Brittany, would you like to chat about where
Yes.
they can find Kelsey?
Yes.
And
So
I'll,
we're gonna be posting in the show notes all of Kelsey's wonderful information. Honey's really begging for attention over here.
Like,
Holy
oh, look at
mackerel.
me.
She's like, help me, mom. So Kels, people can find you on Instagram and Facebook, right?
No, just Instagram.
Just Instagram. Perfect. And your handle is at empowered.
Empowered
within?
dot within.
Perfect. Amazing. So that's the best way they can contact you to book in with you and to ask questions.
Yes.
All that wonderful stuff.
Yes.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Perfect. And then just to remind everybody about her what's it called? Retreat coming up. It's
Retreat.
March
26th.
What are the dates? March 26th.
From 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Amazing. And that's
And the
anyone who's
cost
local.
of that is $222.
Amazing. I like the number.
And lunch is included.
I
That's
love
amazing.
that. Okay.
That's so awesome.
So I'm ready.
All
So
right.
I've got 4 cards here. So first up, I've got, actually, I'm not even going to show you the cards because it's not going to, some people won't be able to they're like, what does it mean? Right. Anyway, so the 9 of Swords in this instant is matured wisdom. So it's in return or in regards to coming to conclusions and accepting not new paths necessarily, but that other things could happen and other things could be true. So I think that this comes back to our perspective and believing things that we can't just see, and or we're not taking it just at its word for it, but it's seeing the action powered behind that, or seeing the result powered behind the action, which is again something that we can't tangibly hold.
Open to infinite possibilities.
Exactly. That's it, girl. The next one I have is collaboration, which is the 3 of Wands. So coming from a stance of resistance, both of yourself, as you push up against the norms and established formulas, give yourself plenty of room to breathe, stay grounded, and keep a broad view of the situation. Then I have the 5 of Swords, which is was it the 5 of Swords? 5 of Swords, yeah.
You would know, Jess.
Is
We can't
chaos.
see.
I know, sorry, it's the chaos card. So racing thoughts, accelerated heartbeat, it's not panic, but chaos. Things are kind of all over the place. So this is our moment to take a deep breath and look within and exhale. Exhale. Oh, that was really hard to say. All the
That was
tension.
hard.
Stop feeding the things that scare you or the things that frighten you by just kind of releasing them into the world. And then let's see here. The last one is the King of Cups. King of Cups. Superstar. Okay. Hold on. Is it the King of Cups or the Knight of Cups?
Oh, God.
This is how it goes. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Is it upside down? No. It is the Knight of Cups. Nope. Hold on. It's a new to me book.
Yes.
That looks.
Well,
It's
that
the
if you pull
Queen.
4 cards.
She's the Queen of Cups, which is water of water. Your emotions take full precedence now, so be ready to set aside time to really sink in and experience them as they roll through you. Get plenty of rest, nourish and hydrate your body, and snuggle up with whatever makes you feel safe and cozy. When we rush through life, our feelings can get away and get shoved to the back burner. Now is the time to coax them back out and give them the attention they crave. You may be pleasantly surprised by how much they give you in return. So be mindful of anything that tends to drag you down into heavy emotional states. During relationships and situations, alcohol and other depressants are best avoided. Keep it light.
All right.
So I think it's a lot of self-reflection and self-care. And yes.
I like it. I'm listening to your body
Lots
before
of
it gets so loud
body.
that it shuts your eye.
Talk to your body.
I like it.
I love it. That was good. I think that was excellent.
Yay.
Sorry to
Amazing.
make it all long-winded, but I when there's more in there, you're like, you can't just pull one card because then I'd hear about it later and it'd come out, in the other eye for not saying the right thing. So
And next week or other eyes.
just more, exactly. Next interview we'll have just
I
don't
want
wanna-
to shut. Jessica's now blind. Yeah.
Jessica's blind. Don't even say that. Don't put that in the world.
No, we're not even gonna put that outside.
No. Okay,
Outside of
lovely.
that. Sweet.
Lovely.
Amazing. Well,
Well,
thank you again, Kel, so much for
yes,
joining
yes,
us.
thanks
thank
for
you,
It's been a
having
long
me.
time coming, so this has just been so amazing. It
yeah,
worked out
this
so
was
nice.
so good. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And for our listeners, thank you for coming back. We hope to see you again. You can find us in the meantime on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Basic Banter for Witches. And you can also email us with any questions, concerns, or if you want to know a little bit more about Kelsey or that book. But like I said, reach out to her. All of her stuff will be in the show notes, but you're welcome to reach out to us. We'll just pass you along to her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we hope you loved it. We loved it.
Yes,
Thank you again.
We did.
That's
Love
great.
it so much, Kels. Thank you so much
Yes.
again.
Bye.
Until
Okay,
next
you
time.
have- Yes.
Yes.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye now.
Bye bye.